Hey, Paul.
Hey, Annabelle, how are you?
I'm good. I've got people in the waiting room, so I'm going to let them in right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I'm going to make you a host as well.
Sounds good. I just got to find my functionality here
All right.
so I can make sure we don't get bombed.
All right. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome, everyone.
Hey,
Hi.
everybody. Hey, Vish.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Isa.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
All right. Let me make sure. How do I make you host?
You can, let's see, can you go in the corner? Let me just see here.
Participants, maybe under participant. No. Oh, yeah. More. There we go. Make a host. Make
Yep.
co-host. Co-host. Yay. Cool. All right. We'll give it just another minute as I'm letting okay, someone else is joining. Perfect. Okay. All right.
Annabelle, this is Vish, my partner from Chicago.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hey, how are you? What was your name
How's it
again?
going? Vish, VISH.
Vish. Nice to meet you, Vish.
Nice to meet you.
So
Likewise.
we're going to talk about investing in Chicago today.
Very nice.
Yep.
And then I have Isa on the call, who's also very interested in investing, multifamily.
Hi, Isa.
Hi, Isa.
Hello.
All righty.
Oh, Isa, you were on last week.
Yes.
Not last week, the week before.
Right.
The week before? Okay.
Yeah, I had an appointment, a client that wanted to check out a place in Palm Springs, so
Yeah.
I missed that one, but I opened escrow, so it's good.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Well, I assigned some homework last week. That's why I was asking. And since you looked familiar, I was about to ask you if you did your homework.
Oh, good. What was homework? So let's see here. Natalie or Natalia and Darnell. I don't think I know you guys. Welcome to the call.
Hey, Julia.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Julia is from Bill's Mix and Brews, so that's how she's learned about the call.
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. And then Natalia, I don't know. Darnell, I don't know. Melanie. Well, welcome, guys. Let's see here. Who else do we have in here?
Yeah, there's Darnell. Hey, Darnell.
Hello, welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Javier's coming in. Do you know Javier, Paul, and Isa?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Great. Isa, have you met Javier?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very good. So, before we start, I kind of wanted to, I know that I'm sure some of you know Paul, some of you know myself. I just kind of want to introduce myself and let you guys know who I am and what I do and what my goals are for this call and hopefully Natalia. Okay. And hopefully, you know what, we can expand this and just grow this this group. So my name's Annabelle Pacheco. I am a real estate broker. I've been in business for 20 plus years. Started really in residential or did a lot of flips back in the early 90s and just learned how to create capital that way. And then kind of maybe the last 12, 13 years have focused 100% on representing buyers and sellers on real estate transactions, and have invested myself in multifamily and definitely have a passion for learning a multifamily more and investing more in it. I want you guys to know that on this platform, we are not looking to sell anything to anyone. We aren't offering anyone any kind of coaching. We're just trying to build a group of agents that have information of multifamily, right? Like just multifamily space and share it with the group. Maybe out of this meeting, you know, there's people in here that can connect afterwards and possibly even do business. So that's really the whole point of this. And And I welcome you all here. Paul, if you want to share a little bit about what you do and.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, for folks who have been on the past 2 weeks worth of calls, Paul Kraus, licensed contractor in California, realtor in California. I've been investing since, 2006 in real estate. Prior to that, I used to be a stockbroker and came into real estate at a time when wholesaling was kind of new. It was becoming an industry. And after doing a whole bunch of fix and flips and wholesales that eventually became fix and flips, decided to get my license. And then, like yourselves, continue to network and meet new people. And one of the people I brought on today, which is Vish, was one of the people that I partnered with to get involved in multifamily. So I brought Vish on today so that we can have a little conversation, and you guys can jump in with any questions that you'd like about getting involved with multifamily for the first time. Last week I gave some homework. Do you all remember what that homework was? Because I think, Javier, you were on there, weren't you?
No.
Did we take last week off? I can't remember.
No, you were, I was at Mike Ferry event, so you did the call.
Oh, I did do it. Julia was on.
Yeah. We were
okay.
here. You asked us to reach out to a few of the people on the call and kind of establish connections.
Yep. And in addition to that, remember I was saying everybody add 3 people to your cell phone that you can call and ask about real estate deals, and you can call them either every month or every quarter. People who are genuinely comfortable for you to call. It's not a cold call. It's meant to be a touch base type of call. So the other one was, remember that your network is vital in this business. It's how I actually got an apartment deal in Arizona by just knowing some people, and they thought of me when they got a listing. And they said, hey, you're the first one I wanted to call because I remember you were saying you wanted this. So were there any other people besides Julia who were on the call? Sorry. Okay. I guess
I
not.
was Melanie.
Oh, Melanie. Hey, Melanie. So
Yes.
Melanie, were you successful adding 3 new people?
I don't know who. No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Like another real estate agent, or like
You're asking a
would be
really
good?
fair, yeah, you're asking a really fair question, Melanie, right? This is what everyone wants to know. Hey, should we be calling agents? Should we be calling friends? Here's what your network is. Your network are people that you're comfortable calling, and they would be comfortable calling you. It's that kind of deal. And letting them know, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm starting to get really interested and involved with investing in my first multifamily property. I just want to give you a heads up and let you know, because you may hear of somebody who is deciding to sell a building, or maybe they need to partner on a building, but this is something I'm genuinely interested in. And I just want to let you know what's going on. And if you hear anything, please think of me. And that's really it. It's not meant to be a cold call. We all have those friends or maybe family members that we don't call all the time, but we reach out to, and it's a comfortable call for the most part. Acquaintances, professional connections, people at work, whatever. They're just people to, be able to every 3 months be able to call, contact, and let them know this is what I'm up to, and this is what I'm trying to do. And if you can hear about anybody who you think might be either buying or selling an apartment building, I'd love for you to connect with me so I could connect with them. And that's it. So it's a great question.
And that's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like in everything. Sometimes like if you don't say it, it's kind of out of their mind, right? They don't even think about it. But the fact that you made that phone call and you asked if they maybe knew of anyone that had apartments or units that they want to sell or buy, I mean, anything, just that conversation could spark like, oh my gosh, yes, I know so-and-so. And that's how you can, I mean, that's definitely one way that you can find deals.
Absolutely. So whenever Vish is ready, Vish, are you still with us, or are you in? Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. So thanks for that, Annabelle. And Annabelle actually helped me out this week because I needed to reach out and find out, hey, by the way, do you, believe it or not, of all things, I don't have a residential mortgage lender. And I know a bunch of people in the business, but I haven't done business with any of them. And I said, Annabelle, who have you done business with? And thought of Annabelle. Annabelle's in my market. She's in my warm market. So she's someone that I would reach out to for referrals. And she said, well, why don't you try this guy? He's been great for me. And I'll make an introduction. And she did. And so look, gang, it's the people that are around you. Don't take it for granted. They might be able to dial you into, and somebody that you never know. So, anyway, thanks for that, Annabelle. We're going to shift gears now because our guest this week is a partner of mine that we've done business with, but who's been investing in Chicago for, Vish, is it now 13 years?
2018.
Can't hear
Vish, we're having a hard time hearing you, buddy.
Hold on.
Oh, much better.
Okay.
The better 8 years in Chicago.
18 years.
No, eight.
8 years in Chicago. Okay. Got it. Thank you. So we were just having a hard time hearing you when you were talking. So I got involved with Vish back in 2020. Actually, it was right about the lockdown period. It was right before that when he and I had gotten together. And I decided to take a flight out to Chicago to see what he was up to because he was saying such interesting things. And that's really key, gang. You're just listening for interesting things to find your next opportunity, right? And one of the things that he was saying was that he was pretty successful finding multifamily deals that had great cash flow. And that just sounded good to me at that time. So Vish, can you just describe a little bit then for folks that are on this call who they're trying to get in a situation kind of like yourself where they have a portfolio or they'd like to, realize cash flow for multifamily, maybe in their own neck of the woods. But what got you involved in multifamily to begin with?
Well, believe it or not, I started my real estate career end of 2004. I was a software engineer, but my passion has always been acting in movies. That's been my passion.
Okay.
And one of my fellow software engineers, she's the lead, and she said, then I told her, I need to start making passive income. I don't know if this job is going to cut it as I'm focused on movies. And she said, have you tried real estate?
Vish, hold on a sec. We're having a hard time hearing you. Is there something covering your microphone?
No, maybe I should just come closer. Is that better?
Yeah, that sounds way better.
Okay. I'm literally speaking into the microphone.
Okay.
Yes, I got started in real estate in 2004 as a software engineer. My passion has been acting in movies. And I was looking for passive income, and one of my associates said, have you tried real estate? And that's when I got in 2004, 2005. And 2005, I bought my first multifamily building, 72 units for $2.5 million.
Wait, how many units was that?
72. My first deal was 72 units.
Can't hear him.
Vish, we need you to call back in.
Okay.
Because we're having a hard time hearing you on your device.
Yeah. So while Vish comes back in, Paul, share
Yes.
with everyone, because you said you heard him say interesting things and then you connected. Well, how did you even meet him? What platform were you on? Where were you on? And what did he do that made you say, hey, I'm going to go check out Chicago?
Yeah. So the interesting thing was Vish used to attend a networking function, networking lunch that I also used to go to up in Van Nuys. And it was a group that there was a bunch of us, really. There was probably about 30 people. And one of the persons who has now moved to Houston had invited me to come out to Houston and have a look. And when I was at this one particular lunch, I was telling Vish that I was going to go out to Houston. I wanted to see what our friend Robert was doing. He was telling me he was being he was finding a lot of success, and by all means, Vish he kind of talked me out of it. He was like, no, don't go to Houston. Come to Chicago with me in November. And I said, really? He goes, yes. If you are looking to learn more about this, I will tell you I've invested in Texas. I've invested in the Midwest. I've invested in the coasts. Chicago is the place to be. So I actually took it with a grain of salt and did about 3 months worth of research at home and just looked at lots of different deals. And then I had asked Vish, can you show me what some of the deals are that you guys are looking at? And he showed me some of those deals. So Vish, can you hear us okay?
Yep.
You sound much more clear now.
Yeah, I'm back on my phone. I was on my laptop on my phone.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you perfectly. So I was just sharing with everybody how it was that I first met you when you had told me about Chicago. And I was saying how, you had basically talked me into coming out. I think it was like November of 19 is when I flew out, or maybe November of 20. I can't remember now. It was one of the two though. And
Oh, that
and
happy
then,
face spiral.
Yeah. Makes
okay,
sense.
so Vish, go ahead. So we had slowed you down when you did your first deal. And how many units was that again?
72.
Okay, so you did a 72 unit deal. We hear you perfectly now, by the way.
Thank you.
And
I did my first deal, 72 units. Bit of more, I really bit off more than I could chew. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. Made all sorts of mistakes.
and how did you? Yeah, but how did you find that deal when it all originated?
I was actually through the your exchange. I had a broker. I was working with Jackie, and we had some money. I was connected to some partners with some deep pockets, and they said, "Yeah, let's go to town, start buying."
And that was in what neighborhood in Chicago?
So the first deal actually was in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, Wichita. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I need to backtrack a little bit because I just to and if you might be experienced or starting out, I built a $50 million portfolio from 04 to 08, then lost it all during the downturn. Then I've been back since 2012, 2013. And when I got back, I started in Chicago with a small house.
Okay. Oh, tell that story, because actually that is an interesting story. So you bought this house in this not so desirable neighborhood, correct?
Yes.
So tell us how that went for you. What was that experience?
Right. I was so gun shy because I lost and I had to file bankruptcy in 08, having lost everything because I was initially in 9 different states. I had done over 300 deals as a principal at the time. So a lot of experience, but nothing to show. And so when I went back, I said, I'm going to relearn everything. I knew exactly where I went wrong and what I did right. And I said, okay, I'm going to start really small. Went to this neighborhoods, just started hunting for deals. That's my strength, acquisitions. And one of like Paul gave some great tips. And one tip I'd like to add is you want to talk to at least 5 brokers or realtors a week. And I do this religiously. Every week I speak to 5 new brokers across the country. And you just don't know who might have a deal.
And what do you say to them when you call them?
Hey, investor looking for a deal, and I can close with cash. We're serious buyers, and this is what I've done. And if the deal is interesting, I can fly out and be there. And that's so important in this business. It's such a people's business. And it can be a cliche, but when people say your network is your net worth, it's true. And I'll give you an example. I was going to these meetings in LA, in Van Nuys, for a couple of years. On Wednesdays, it's sort of a boring meeting, lunch meeting. Everybody goes around the table, has and wants real estate. But guess what? That's where I met Paul. And he's one of my best partners. We've done a ton of deals together. We really love working with each other. At least from my side, I can tell you, Paul is a great guy.
I do. I'm the frugal financial partner.
And we have done well together, and that's what can happen if you network constantly.
Correct. Great. Thanks for sharing that, because I think sometimes it comes naturally for us if we've already done this, but someone that's just starting out may not know what to say.
Yes, and the thing is, we don't need to overthink it. We're all going to suck when you start.
Right.
The point is, it's okay to suck, and I'm always okay to suck. I'm in front of the camera, the screen, acting. I suck in front of the camera, and I've gotten better over the years. I suck at everything. All of us. You want to do a deal? It's not easy. Otherwise, everybody would be a multimillionaire, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vish, you at one point, after you had closed that deal, you'd built a little bit of confidence and you had done some more deals, but you decided that, hey, I really want to start getting into flats, like 3 flats, 4 flats. Describe a little bit why Chicago was calling to you, because you really were very focused on Chicago. You were not looking at Wichita or Houston or Dallas or any of these other places anymore. Tell me a little bit about how that matriculated for you.
Right. Having been in so many different markets prior, I sort of have a pulse of so many different markets. Plus, I speak to so many people. And Chicago called me. It was spoke to my heart because what I saw, it's the 4th largest metro in the country, and with extremely high population density. And it's one of the unique cities where you have probably, maybe after New York, the 2nd highest concentration of multifamilies in one area. If you and most of them are 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. And I figured out very quickly, if you bought in good areas, if you buy a 3 or a 4 unit, with just maybe an apartment and a half will cover your mortgage, and the rest is gravy for you. So the cash flow is phenomenal.
And you built up some confidence because all of a sudden you started seeing that. What was your next acquisition then that you went to, that when you started breaking into the multiple units? What was your next multi-unit after that?
The acquisition was, I had helped my brother-in-law. I sort of mentored him into buying a condo in a nice area in Chicago. And when I visit, I go stay with him sometimes. And I was taking a walk and I saw, and I'm constantly looking for deals, as you know, that's my thing. And I found in the same neighborhood, I know that he bought his condo for $450. And when I was just sort of walking for dollars, I saw a foreclosure on the next street, a 3 unit for $400,000.
Wow.
When his condo is $450,000, this is a 3 unit for $400,000, and immediately made an offer, cash offer.
And probably beat everybody out because cash is king. And what I've noticed about the Midwest is quite a few people, they like to make offers with financing contingencies. So your offer of cash probably got accepted right away.
Right. And that's how you got to beat the competition in this game. If you know, and that comes through just practice and constantly looking at, I look at probably 50 to 100 deals a day, and that's a habit. And once you've been doing it so long, you sort of understand what a deal is very quickly. And I'll answer the second part of the question: why not Texas or Wichita or all these markets? For example, Texas, and I've been in those markets. Florida. These are all highly appreciating markets, and the competition is so much, you just don't get the cash flow you need. In comparison, in Chicago, I could get, and after going through what I went through in 08, I started focusing on cash flow. And because for me, in my opinion, appreciation is just speculation. And we are seeing that again all over. Austin or San Jose or Seattle, they're taking 15-20% of a hit. And none of the cash flowing markets are taking that hit. So Midwestern markets, they may not appreciate that much, but they'll cash flow where the economy is down or up.
Mm-hmm.
So Natalia's asking a question right now, Vish, and I'm going to let you answer this. Would you consider Chicago a buyer's market right now?
Chicago is an interesting market. It's so huge, right? Like I said, it's the 4th largest metropolitan. I think the metropolitan area, just a little bit in the suburb, is around 19 million people. So in one market, you have everything. You have a Cleveland type market within Chicago. You have a Los Angeles type market within Chicago. You even have potentially a Florida type market or a Dallas type market. You just pick. Is it a buyer's market? Chicago's there are always deals. You just need to just stay at it, keep at it, know what, and it's really a block to block, zip code to zip code, and Paul knows that very well now. He's been with us for a couple of years now. Yeah, it's it's a buyer's market. It's
It's a
always
good
a buyer's
point. It's a good point what you just said about street by street. So describe that a little bit, because Chicago reminds me of New York City in that you have neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods are very culturally and socioeconomically bound. It's almost like a glue. Like if you say, for example, the Lincoln Park, that is a very established socioeconomic and cultural neighborhood. Ukrainian Village, same deal. These are all neighborhoods of Chicago. So, Vish, at one point you started saying, I want to start focusing on certain neighborhoods. Tell us about how that came about, how that developed.
Right. And how the developers, as you, like I said, it's all about relationships. I'm a big believer in relationships, and I invest a lot of my time on relationships. Every time I go to Chicago, I sit down, have coffee or lunch with my associates, and you just get to learn. And this is an industry, probably only industry where you don't need to do the research. There is no reinventing the wheel needed. All you do, if you want a contractor, you go into a new city. I see people getting scared. Oh, it's a new city. How am I going to find a contractor? It's really easy. Go to Bigger Pockets, find, and just pose a question. Hey, I need 3 contractor referrals in Nashville. Period. So when an investor refers, and that's exactly what happened to me. First deal in Chicago, I didn't know whom. I went to Bigger Pockets, put an out, and I found a contractor through that. And because that investor has already worked with that contractor, and if he's going to tell you, and it's an unwritten rule in the investment community, you never refer anybody who's not good. Period. That's it. So these are ways to sort of hasten your evolution. It's not a steep learning curve. You just pick up the phone and immediately call. And how I made the transition, I just started finding, okay, this is where and then one of my biggest tricks is the moment you find a zip code, and you don't need to look at crime statistic, you don't look at anything, go to Google, type in the zip code and space median income. Do not buy anywhere where the median income, where at least personally, I don't buy where the median income is less than $60,000. So what does that tell you? If your rent is $1,500, as a person making $60,000 can easily afford it. That's it.
Now, Natalie asked a great question. What are some of the great zip codes? And Vish, I think you would agree with this, that even though you can have a great zip code, you can have a horrible investment that, maybe it's a turnkey property. There's really not a lot of meat left on the bone. You're looking for particular properties. Describe what kind of property you look for in the neighborhoods that we go into.
Right. So let's say that I like 60618 or 60647. Those are good neighborhoods. And you don't want, in these neighborhoods, very, very good. I think the median income is over $85,000 and $90,000. You don't want to buy turnkey, because turnkey, there's really no meat in the bone. They've done the work and you're buying potentially at retail. So what do? You try to find a fixer in that zip code. Okay, then you say, okay, how much of a fixer? Is it a heavy lift where it needs permits, plans? Are you willing to? Then that's a personal question you need to ask yourself. Do you have enough funds to sustain? Because sometimes with plans and permits, a project can take a year and a half. So do you have the money to feed that baby until the whole process? And do you have the patience to go through the roofs, putting everything, redoing all the mechanicals, the plumbing, the electrical, the framing? So that's where probably an expertise comes in when you joint venture with somebody who knows what they're doing, whether it's a project manager or contractor, and say, okay, hey, this is a cosmetic fix. That's an industry term. Okay, cosmetic fix, I know potentially it's going to be between $20,000 to $30,000. And Paul and I, we worked on multiple projects between $20,000 and $30,000. Maybe just minor updating of mechanicals. It's always definitely going to involve paint, redoing the kitchen, redoing the bathroom. That's a cosmetic fixer.
Yeah,
that costs $20,000, $30,000. You buy a 3 or a 4 unit or even a 5 unit. Okay, bingo, it's your budget is going to be $150,000. That's how you do the math.
And in addition to what he just said as well, factor in that there is no rent control in Chicago. It's not like California. So
Yes.
factor in that there's no rent control where rents are fixed. Isa, you had a question. Go right ahead.
Yes, Fish, you mentioned a few times that you made cash offers. Now, is it because you already have the cash flow, or because you have PMLs or solid investors altogether?
Okay. So are you asking whether I have the cash
Like
before
when
I
you
make the
make an
offer?
offer, yeah, because like when you saw the 3-unit and you saw that it's a good deal for 400. Now you made a cash offer right away, and of course for a seller, that's that gets you in the door right away. Now, is that because you already have a solid investor that that you're partners with, or is that coming from your own cash flow, from your
Yes
own
and no.
other investments?
It's most times when real estate investors say we find the deal, the money will come. Most times it's true. It's not always true. It's a balancing act. $400,000. How do I know I can make that happen? Right? I made the cash offer. So when I say cash, in that instant when I did that, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I did not have the money, but I know I can go to a hard money lender and borrow 10 or 12%, and they're going to ask me for 10% down, and I had $40,000 to put down. So I know. But what I didn't know that the project actually took it was a pretty crazy project, and if we have more time, I can explain that. But at the time, no. But hard money lenders are always there, and if the deal is right, you don't need a private lender. You can go hard money.
Yeah, I'll also add to that every deal that Vish and I have gotten involved with, we never knew exactly how we were going to pay for something. We weren't thinking about it that way. We were thinking more about what is the overall exit strategy look like, that if we could get into a deal and get out of the deal, what would that profit margin look like to us first? And then how much of that profit did we want to chop off, like kind of like a slicing up a pie? How much of that profit did we want to slice off and give to an investor to borrow their funds? So we talk about deals every day, and we don't think about how we're going to pay for them until we really have them under contract. And when we get them under contract, no different than in California, you have time before that earnest money deposit's going to be due. So to us, it's in our partnership, we've always been more interested in how much money can we make from this deal? Because if the pie of profit is big enough, if it's a large enough chunk for us to get involved, our time, our energy, our emotional, stability in life to be able to get through the deal, it's got to be big enough for everyone involved. And when you have a partner, like Vish and I are partners, when you have a partner, you're splitting everything in like we do things 50-50. So we try to share that we're not thinking about how things are going to get paid for, because if that profit margin is going to be big enough, we believe that through our network of people, there are so many investors with money, idle money, sitting in a bank account, that they want to put that money to work, that if we bring them a good deal, that we'll be able to deliver them a good return, and we can still deliver us a strong profit. So it's a win-win-win. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
I have
one
a question. Have you guys done like the auction part of it? Like, when you see properties, or would you consider that as a waste of time?
No, I have bought through auction myself personally.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and just to add to the point, you always want to be, for example, right? I always say in real estate, there are two ways to skin the cat. Either you're the acquisitions guy or the money guy. And I would always say, try to choose one thing. And if you're the acquisitions person, you always want to start developing relationship and network with people with money. And you keep them ready. And I've done that for so long, so many years. And I know I have a few people I can go to for money, because they trust me that when I come in with a deal, it's a deal. And you want to build the credibility, and it takes a bit.
You know, what I'm hearing you say, Vish, too, is that, you know, in essence, you focus very closely and very intentionally with your time, because we all have 8 to 10 hours a day to work, and then that's about it, right? Maybe some of us 12, you know, but beyond that, like, you really focus on the acquisition.
Yep,
I
exactly.
really focus in our business on finding those investors who can
Exactly.
fund those deals. I cannot go be Vish in Chicago with his experience any more than I can go be Annabelle and know her market intimately like she does, and like try to be a listing agent there. I would never even try to do that. I'd rather just say, Vish, you go find the acquisitions. I can bring the money to the deal. And then that way we focus on just what we're strong at. And through our partnership, we can produce a profit. And anybody
Exactly.
who might be getting into this business, if you can't afford to do it, or maybe you don't have those money relationships, well, that's why we are on this call, because we want to talk about different ways of how you can develop those relationships so that you can bring on those partners that can help enable your deals, because it's really about enabling your deals at the end of the day. Someone is going to be able to enable your deal either by bringing you the deals or by bringing you the money, one of the two. Or the third part of it is the project management. But I don't want to go off. I just want to make sure I really answered your question.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions? I know, Vish, you're pressed for time.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a
I
comment.
will be on the phone driving to school so I can squeeze in more time.
Okay.
Well, I have a question. I have a question for you, because I have never been able to invest with other people's money. I've only invested with my hard-earned money, and it only has, you know, it only gets you so far, right? I have a lot of clients that if I connected with and if I had a plan, I could probably, and because of my relationship with them, they trust me, they know that I'm a professional in the business, would probably say, yeah, I'd be on board. My issue is how and how do they, guess it's more like, how do they get their, what do you have them sign? What's the contract look like? What's the verbiage? I mean, how is their money secured or not secured? Or how do you guys do that when you're getting others to lend you the money to buy the property?
Vish, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's a great question, because I'm a part of that process, just because the person lending you the money, generally, from our experience, is going to want to use their documents. Okay. And when we say their documents, we mean their lending documents.
Okay.
Because their lending documents are typically going to be either a note, well, it's always going to be a note, and then a mortgage or a deed of trust. In addition to that, they're going to want a personal guarantee for your first deals. And the reason why they're going to want a personal guarantee is because you're still getting to know each other. Correct. Such that if the entity that you're borrowing, you know, you might be buying the property with an LLC, but behind that LLC are natural persons. And natural persons can sign guarantees for notes, even if the building is owned by an entity like an LLC.
Okay.
Does everyone understand that?
Oh, I don't know. I understood. Does everyone understand that on the call?
Okay, great. So the next thing that then happens is you want to go into borrowing money with a game plan. And what that means specifically is you're either going to make that person a hard money lender, a soft money lender, or you're going to make them an equitable partner. An equitable partner is where they're going to be a part owner of that property with you. There'll be a member of the LLC, but they will not be a manager of that LLC. You're the one who ultimately is going to decide how much you can pay an investor based upon how much profit is in the deal. So if you're buying, just using easy numbers, if you're buying a property for $1 million that you think it'll be worth $2 million when you're done with it, and you have to put $300,000 into that property, that's going to give you a basis of $1.3 million for a profit of $700,000. Does everyone understand that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that $700,000 then represents a certain amount of profit over a certain period of time. The least amount of time that we deal with in our projects is 1 year. We don't typically do less than that. Although we could, we don't try to. So if $700,000 is your profit margin, you then need to decide how much money can I pay an investor in order to excite them and get them motivated to invest with me. And you want to kind of reverse engineer this. You want to think about it in terms of, well, what are investors getting paid? I can tell you right now that generally what's going to make an investor excited to work with somebody who is brand new to them is about a 12% return. People you know, you will probably be able to get away with maybe 8 to 9 in this market, given that interest rates have popped up. But a 12% return is considered like the bare minimum if you go to somebody right now who is a stranger to you, you to them, but maybe they were referred to you by a good friend of yours. So that friend put in a good word for you that you're an honorable person and that you'll keep all your promises. So how you put this together, Annabelle, is with your operating agreement from your entity. And in your operating agreement, it's going to specifically state who is managing the LLC, which, by the way, that's always going to be you, right? So it's going to be, Javier or Isa or Annabelle. And then next, it's going to outline who all the members of the LLC are and any powers that they may have. And those voting powers can have things to do with, like, in certain situations, a vote can be held to replace the managing member, or to disperse funds at certain times, or to terminate the entity, which means ultimately that the entity will be terminated by what they call force of sale. So that operating agreement is something that you sit down with a lawyer to draft and explain to them, this is who I am. So let's just say it was Captain Bob. Captain Bob goes to his lawyer and says, I have 3 people who want to invest in this deal with me. So I need to name those people in my operating agreement as members. And the way that they're going to get paid is like this. So then Captain Bob explains, I'm going to give them a 12% return or 10% return or whatever that looks like over a certain period of time. Then after that operating agreement is all constructed and put together, that operating agreement is going to be put forth in front of each investor. Now, if there's only one investor, you put forth that operating agreement in front of them and say, here's the agreement that binds the deal with you and me or everybody involved. And this is what outlines how you will get paid and how I will get paid. And it's really important that you do that because you also want to outline that, hey, at some point they need to understand, is there going to be property management involved? Are there going to be fees involved? How are fees going to get paid? How are vendors going to be paid? All those things get explained in the operating agreement. The managing member is typically the person who is empowered to assign all of that responsibility to either a property management company or to a CPA or to an accountant, different vendors who get different parts of the puzzle put together for you. Then, after you have your operating agreement signed, you then need to decide, are you going to be using mortgages and deeds of trust to secure your investors' funding? Some investors will demand it because they don't know you, so that if you were to default and not be able to pay them for whatever reason is, they need to know that they have the security of coming in as a first lien holder on that property, and they'd be able to take over and get their funds back. So initially, you can expect most investors to want to have a first position lien on your property, no different than when maybe you might have bought your first condo or house and the bank recorded a deed of trust or a mortgage against your house. Does everyone follow that?
Yes.
Okay, great. The last thing I'll just say about it is that when we were putting together our first deal, we had one money investor, and that one money investor, Annabelle, was perfectly fine with us putting an operating agreement together, which identified everyone's powers and identified the schedule of distribution, which means how people will get paid when it's time to get paid, either through the form of a sale of the property, or if we were going to do what's called a cash out refi to take money out of the property. And they were comfortable not having a recorded lien. Now, that's not common, but some investors will. Now, that investor is someone that I know and they know me, and I had done a lot of work for. So they felt that they could trust me in order to do this deal. So that's why they did not want a recorded lien. But there have been other investors that we have done business with that have demanded it, that they have required it. So don't be put off by that. That's standard procedure. And when your lawyer who's drafting your document asks you a little bit about who's going to be involved in the entity participation, they're going to want to know, is your investor going to be actively participating, or are they going to be silently, passively participating? And you're going to identify that. You're going to let them know they're either active or they're passive. In our deals, our investors are passive.
Okay.
And we design it that way, by the way.
That makes
We
sense.
design it as we are the expertise. We're the ones who are coming in, doing the remodeling work, taking the dollars that are at risk, but putting them to good use so that the value of the property will be worth obviously a whole lot more money than what it is at the time that we bought it.
Very
Does that
good.
make sense, everybody?
Very good explanation.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
I love
Or
it.
Vish, did you want to add anything?
Oh no, I think you covered. Guys, you guys need to be very grateful for Paul's. That's pretty amazing explanation.
It was.
Okay.
It really was.
Well, I hope everyone followed it, because honestly, it sounds like a lot, but the truth is your lawyer is going to bring you through each and every part of that operating agreement anyway to make sure that they design it the way you want it to be. And if you need to know more about that, then we just need to have a documents session, Annabelle, where we just put some documents in front of folks so they can see what's involved.
I think that'd be great. I mean, it's just gonna, I mean, it's stuff that, your first time investor has no idea, and to look at it and to become familiar with it always helps. Very good. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Go for it.
Okay, so coincidentally, after our last meeting, there was this realtor that had posted a multifamily brand new renovated multifamily on Facebook. I had messaged her for details. And I do know a lady that does buy apartments. What would I do? Because the lady never gave me the information. Would I have to have gone by the actual apartment to find out, like?
That's Melanie talking, right?
Yes.
Hi, Melanie.
Yeah.
Melanie, what state are you in again?
Texas, San Antonio.
Okay, great. And where was the apartment building, Melanie?
They had said it was in Alamo Heights area. They didn't disclose the address. It was off the market kind of deal.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So you learned about it by Facebook, and how much detail did they actually give you about that deal?
Not much. I requested some details, but it wasn't given to me. They did a tour on the video of the apartment complex that it was newly renovated. And at the end of the video, it just asked for if you're interested to request it. She is a realtor. I have her on my Facebook page. There's like a bunch of groups that I'm in, so a lot of stuff gets shared. So what
Melanie,
you guys have
yeah.
done?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, no, Melanie, so what I was going to say is it could be that the realtor, the person who is sharing this, they might be under an obligation to not disclose too much.
Right.
Because it could be that the seller needs a certain amount of anonymity. So it's not uncommon in our business to see people say, I've got an off-market deal, it's 8 units, it's in this neighborhood, that's all I can say right now. But if you're interested or you're a buyer, reach out to me, please. And your job is always, I have a buyer who buys in that location.
Okay.
You always do. Because with your network, knowing me, Annabelle, and Vish, with the 3 of us, we each probably know at least no joke, 300 qualified buyers amongst us who buy nationwide. And that is not a joke.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm saying, just by knowing us, you now know 300 qualified buyers who I guarantee you probably have bought or are at least familiar with your submarket. So
Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I'll have to. I reached my son's school. I'll have to go. It was great talking to you all. Maybe I'll come
thanks,
next
Vish.
time.
Thank you,
All right,
Vish.
thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
have you back on another day.
Okay.
All right, take care.
I'm sorry. Can you mute me because I can't do it on my phone?
Yeah, no problem. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew, Melanie, that you know, you don't you never pass up an opportunity. You always say, I know someone who might buy that. However, I just need to know, more details when you're ready, if you're ready, and if you are ready now, I'll be happy to sign any non-disclosure, documents. But that non-disclosure max period of time is 6 months. Max. A friend of mine in Arizona was asked to sign a 4-year non-disclosure, and he, of course, absolutely refused to do it because 4 years is too long.
Are
So
you guys, I'm sorry, Paul, do you guys all know what the NDA is? No?
oh, maybe we should explain that. Yeah,
What
an
are you,
NDA.
what are you not, what do they want you not to disclose the information about the property, address and all that stuff, or?
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. They're maybe doing it because they don't want to alert the tenants of that property that this building is now for sale, because maybe there might be an eviction in process. There might be something happening
Negative stuff.
that they do not want to reveal to the tenants the intention of getting rid of the building. So there could be a number of reasons, but yes, that's what a non-disclosure agreement is. An NDA is usually for no more than 3 to 6 months, and it's basically just that you're not going to disclose this to anyone other than essentially your potential buyer, or if you are the buyer, then you're not going to disclose it to anyone else or make it a public record.
Right. And also you have to be careful on an NDA. A lot of times agents will put in there that if you end up purchasing the property, some of them, some agents that are pretty, sophisticated, they'll put in there that you as the buyer are to pay them a 1% or whatever fee that they want to charge you for,
Yep.
kind of like an acquisitions fee. So you have to be very, very careful when you are calling and you want to get information. Look at that NDA and just make sure that it's, your typical NDA where you're going to sign it so that they can release the information, and that's it. No charge, right? If you decide you're going to buy the property or someone's going to buy the property, that they're charging the buyer 1% or 2%, whatever they want to charge.
That's great. Excellent. Yeah, that's an excellent add-on. It's very true. You do need to pay attention to any kind of fees. All right. I know we're getting close to the end of the hour. I want to go around the horn one more time, though, to everybody. I don't know where everybody's marketplace is and where everybody is from. So, Isa, can we start with you? Just tell me where your market is and what do you specialize in?
So I'm in Corona. I live in Eastvale, so my areas are new builds, because we have a lot. The Eastvale is a fairly new community, so we've been getting rid of all the cows in our city, and so new builders are all over our area. So Jurupa Valley, Ontario Ranch, we have new cities that are being built in. They're cutting up the zip codes and separating because of the schools. So our area has a lot of new builds. So I have a lot of people and clientele that are interested in new builds. But since I met Annabelle, I actually wanted to find a niche. And so I'm also taking a probate class, because I kind of wanted to, because we also have a senior new build, but it's only for senior communities. So
Okay.
I kind of want to learn about all this stuff and families that are downsizing, or families. I've met some people who are like my background is healthcare, so I have a lot of nurses who all of a sudden what do you call this, their parents passed away and kind of gave them the property, but it's out of state, that kind of stuff. They ask me questions, so I kind of want to learn about it and to apply it in my area, because
Great.
Norco, the horse ranch city, we have a lot of old folks who has old properties. They've never been sold for like 30 years. So I thought, hey, you know, maybe we have families who are out of state already and probably have those, you know, so that's
So-
my thing.
So Norco, East Vale, and Corona.
Yes, and Harupa Valley.
And Yorupa Valley. I know Yorupa Valley. My son used to play
Yeah.
baseball there. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have big lands. So you're aware the houses there are like, you know,
oh yeah.
big.
Yep.
So they have room for all that new, like if you buy a home, they already have permits where you're allowed to build more on the lot. So I think that's cool.
So anybody who has clients or they hear about opportunities, Yorupa Valley or Corona, East Vale, or Norco, we want to think of ISA because ISA's got, you know, local knowledge. Thank you very much. Next, Javier, unmute yourself. Tell us a little bit about your marketplace. Where are you at?
I work the Azusa, Glendora, kind of like
Okay.
the 605 freeway 210, and then
Great.
from pretty much like from Pasadena to Rancho Cucamonga, that foothill corridor.
Awesome.
Everything around there. Grew up in West Covina area, and
Okay.
so I do a lot of business there. But I go all over the place. Anywhere
Thank you,
around.
Javier. So
Yeah.
Javier and the Covinas, I appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome.
Natalie, next. Is Natalie still on? Or?
Yeah.
Natalia, I'm sorry, Natalia. I'm sorry. Natalia, are you still there? Or? Okay, let's go to Melanie while we're waiting for Natalia. Melanie, go ahead.
I'm in the San Antonio area. There's a lot of surrounding areas around here. Ranch. There's a lot of new builds too. I'm actually new. I just got signed on with EXP on the 11th.
Congratulations.
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here getting into this, but I just want to like learn as much as I can. You know, I want to expand beyond just residential.
There's nothing like being prepared should that
Right.
conversation comes up.
Right. And I
So-
had a question about this multifamily deal. Do you need a commercial license, or is that only for selling the multifamily properties? Like,
You don't need a you don't need a commercial license to go buy a deal. If
Okay.
you are even if you're a residential broker, you just and you're going to represent someone else, you just need to check with your broker to see if your broker has any kind of limitation, because you have what's called errors and omissions insurance. You need to make sure that if you're representing a buyer as opposed to yourself, that your errors and omissions insurance will cover your transaction if you as a sales agent in your state will be covered under that errors and omissions. So you need to disclose to your broker. So whoever your broker is, that's who you need to ask.
okay.
Yeah.
Get it.
Thanks, Melanie. Appreciate it. Good to know. So we have someone in San Antonio, Texas. Is Captain Bob? Are you on today?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, Bob. Where are you from?
I'm up in near Philadelphia, but I'm primarily
Okay.
focused on Florida market. Multifamily apartments down there.
Okay, great. Thanks, Captain Bob. I got to mute you just because it's feeding back, but we got that. So up in the Philadelphia area. Thank you, Natalia. I think I got a message from you. Let's
Yeah,
see.
she doesn't have a mic. So
Oh, okay. She's in Orange County. So Natalia is in Orange County. Thank you for letting us know. Amanda, did we get to you yet? Amanda Watkins.
Hi. I am I'm in the LA area. I do a lot of stuff in the Valley, Sherman Oaks, Van Nuys, North Hollywood.
Okay.
I'm a residential agent. I did do commercial, but kind of like before I had my license a while ago. And now I'm just really interested in the multifamily market because I keep running across investors, and it's super interesting to me. So I just want to dive deep into it. So
Well, thanks for joining
this
us.
has been great.
How long you been?
Really great.
Oh, good. And how long you been a realtor?
About 4.5 years, 5 years.
Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
What company are you with, Amanda?
I'm with a small boutique. I was with Compass for a hot minute, and then with Corcoran Global Living, which just
Yes.
yeah. So, but I was with PLG, and PLG, merged with Corcoran at the time. They were buying up smaller brokerages, and then when they shut their doors, we all kind of regrouped, and so now we're back doing more hyper local stuff. So, and I also work in Santa Barbara.
Oh,
You do? Wow.
Yeah.
So you will travel.
I will. Well, I mean, it's for the right thing also, and I grew up there, so I know I've got a huge network there, and I also know the area really well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Melanie, you just joined us in person. Hi there. So where are you again, Melanie?
I'm in San Antonio.
You're the one in San Antonio. Thank you, Melanie. Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I was trying to figure out how to show my face, and I figured it out.
Good. You figured it out before it ended. So, okay. So we have, and then Kelvin, are you with us today? Kelvin? Kelvin, are you there? All right, Kelvin's away. Thanks everyone for sharing. It's really important. Just to kind of get a feel for everybody is. I'm Paul Krause. I'm in the South Bay of LA, and that's pretty much I kind of do most of my business either in the South Bay, Arizona, or Chicago right now. So that's where I practice. Annabelle, you didn't share, so go on. Why don't you just tell everybody one more time your market?
Sure. I am in Walnut, California. That's for those that don't know, it's a suburb east of downtown LA. I'm about 30 minutes away from downtown LA. I cover 4 counties, LA County, Orange County, San Bernardino, and Riverside County. I do about a 45-minute drive radius, which I feel that I can definitely service the client. So I cover a pretty large territory. And I mean, I study the market everywhere. So I feel very confident being able to represent clients on either sales or purchases. And I'm also invested in multifamily. I'm invested out of state. I'm in El Paso, Texas. I'm in Houston, and I am in Cleveland. And part of a group there. I'm not alone in it. And I had my own 34 doors in Dallas, Texas, which I ran for about 7 years and did very well, and sold that 1031, exchanged into something else, another project. And you know what, just looking to expand my multifamily knowledge. Definitely want to be surrounded by others that are doing this. And really my goal is to be able to invest with other people's money. I have a lot of clients that have money, and I've never had the guts to take their money. Like, I'm always afraid to take their money. I mean, I will risk and I will do stuff, and I'm normally pretty successful at it. So I think this is the year where I want to learn how to branch out, offer them, because in reality, if you think about this, if we have the knowledge and we know that we can get ourselves into a property that can produce cash flow and make them money, we're actually coming to them with an incredible opportunity that not everyone has. So I think it's also, my mindset is knowing that I have something of value that I can go to my clients and say to them, hey, listen, there's this opportunity. You can get X return on your money for whatever, for whatever time, and know that they're going to be in a good position and they'll be able to invest their money. So
awesome. Thank you.
My spiel.
Well, we just hit the top of the hour. I'm sorry we went so long today. So next week, I am at my, I'm in a real estate group called the Council of Exchangers. It's a group of real estate brokers who all get together 4 times a year in Vegas, January, April, July, and October. And basically try to do deals, deals in multifamily, notes, land, retail centers, you name it, every kind of, even single family residential. I'm going to come back the following week, so I won't be here next week. I'm going to come back the following week and share with you a little bit about what some of the deals looked like, and a little bit more about the the investor sentiment, so to speak. It's been a great group for me, and I want to tell you about it more next time, because if anyone does have a real estate license as at least a sales agent, you don't have to be a broker. Anyone can come and experience the group. I invited Annabelle last year, so Annabelle came. And Annabelle, that's all I had for this week.
Paul, I won't be on the call either next week, but we've got an incredible, but we have, because I'll be at that same event, but we have an incredible person hosting the call, which I'm not sure if you guys know is Bill Gross. He'll be hosting the call, and we have an amazing guest speaker, which I'm really bummed I won't be available to attend, but I urge you guys to be on that call. She has done incredible in building her multi-family business. I mean, she started with like really nothing and has hundreds. She's on major podcasts. She's written a book. She's part of a book. I mean, incredible information. So I recommend all of you jump on the call next week, and then we'll see you guys, I think,
Following week. Yeah.
and we'll share more information from this multifamily event. All right. So have a wonderful week and productive week. And if you guys have any questions, you can email us, and
Yes.
we will, we'd be happy to help out.
Great. Thank you for your time.
All
You're
right.
welcome. Thanks everybody for being on.
Yes. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.